Is there anybody in the room right now who thinks they could be living a better life? Raise your hand. Okay, put your hand down. Is there anyone in the room right now who wants to be living a better life? Okay. All right. So some people say, oh, that's sort of simple sounding. But here's the funny thing. Some folks don't want to do better. Some folks' good is in opposition to their greatest or to their best. Anybody ever heard that? Yes. Okay. So this program is called Turn Up. 9 Steps to a Better You. And the turn up is not the big gig, but it is. It is a colloquial term for just doing better. For doing better. We came through 2 years of a pandemic when things changed. Who was in my session yesterday? Anybody in my session yesterday? Listen, brother said something yesterday, and I was like, wow. Things have changed. People have been impacted by this trauma of not being, of being isolated, of having loved ones to pass away, of having loved ones to be hospitalized, of having loved ones to be unemployed. Now, we know you from the government, and you, for the most part, all the government workers kept their job. But that's good, but realize what happened. Some of your family members didn't. Some people had to have family members move in with them because they stopped being able to pay rent, to buy food, to buy gas, to maintain their bills. And so the turn up today for us are going to be the things that we can do to have a better life. I don't know about you, but I grew up in Detroit. And there were times when my senior year where I had a pot of water, being really transparent here, at the spigot of my next door neighbor's house to put water in it. Yeah. Because the start of my senior year, we didn't have water. Nor did we have electricity. Right? There are those type of situations that we come into contact with. And so not only am I going to tell you these 9 steps of the turn up for you, but I'm going to be telling you these steps for the turn up for someone else. We get so focused on us, we forget about other folk. Okay? So let me start in these 9 steps. 2 things. Number 1, the turn up ain't going to work for you if you're not self-disciplined. It's not going to work. I can give you 1,000,000 steps, but it's not going to work. What's self-discipline? Self-discipline, and this is my definition, self-discipline is doing what's necessary for as long as necessary to get the desired result. Let me say that again. Doing what's necessary for as long as necessary to get the desired result. Some of our problems are we don't start. I had a slide up there that said just start. We don't start at all, and if we do start, what do? We stop. And we know what we need to be doing in many occasions. So you got to think about self-discipline and how to make yourself self-discipline. That's not one of the first steps. That's not the step. That's the step that is in the beginning that makes it all work. If you're not self-disciplined, if not willing to do what's necessary for as long as necessary to get your desired result, you remember college. You remember how we was living? Burger baskets. Who cooking this week? Who cooking today? Who could cook? Right? That's how we got through college. But the first step is this. It's giving. I want you to think about who is it that you give to and what is it that you give. Now, there is a law to the universe, whether you like it or not. It's sort of like gravity. You throw the apple in the air, it's going to come back down. Giving is sort of like gravity. It's a law. Whatever you put out is coming back. If I say what goes around, comes around. See, our problem is this. We give things that we don't want and are surprised when they come back. Let's look at the agricultural sense. You got an apple seed. You put it in the ground. It grows up to be an apple plant, an apple tree, and you get apples off of it. You put it in the ground and it comes back to you. See, the problem is we want to get things from this world that we didn't plant. You want friends? Be friendly. Want money? Give a little bit. The problem is we're giving some unpleasant attitudes. We are giving some unsavory words. Unsavory. I like that. I'm still paying on that word. Fannie Mae, right? I still owe for that word. Unsavory words. So you have to remember what giving is. It is your opportunity for the universe to give back to you. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It is absolutely a law. And so we got to be careful whether we are at our jobs, whether we are at our homes, whether we on the metro, on the plane, with the server, at the restaurant. Just because they server don't mean they shouldn't be treated with respect and dignity. Right? A faith-based person said that he could tell about a person's character by how they treat people that they don't need. That's how somebody treats a person that they don't need. So I want to encourage you about your giving. If you can create the life that you want to live, you can do it by first giving what it is that you want. A lot of people say, well, I'm taking care of my family, I'm taking care of my kids. Absolutely, positively, you should do that. Surely. That's, yay, Hercules. Absolutely, you should do that. But you should also give to people who sometimes don't have the capacity to give back to you. You can give it in one area and it'll come back somewhere else. Can somebody raise their hand and say they've experienced that before? Absolutely. So giving is the first thing. It's reciprocal. That's what it is. Look at that hand coming back. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. I am a track coach in the city of Detroit. Do you know Detroit has a 34% poverty rate? The average family income in Detroit is $26,000. Wow. There is a city within Detroit called Highland Park. Their family income is $16,000. The 13th congressional district, which encompasses parts of Detroit, Highland Park, it is the poorest district in the country.
Street lights don't come on.
More than that don't come on. And as an aside, it's going to be the first time ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but for folks who care, it's going to be the first time in 70 years that Detroit's not going to be represented by a black congressperson. Brenda Lawrence, who is my congressperson, we lost population, so we lost a seat in the state. Brenda Lawrence retired. Rashida Tlaib went from 13 to 12. A rich person of color, ain't black, not connected to our community. I never see him at the gas station when I went there. Had the money, had 9 of us in the race, split up the black vote. We're going to have no black representation since Charles Diggs in 1955. How about that? Biggest black city in the country. All right. So giving is the start of every. I'm going to talk. Wow. Money matters. Does money matter?
Yes.
Money does matter. And so people can say money don't matter, but money absolutely positive. It ain't all about money. Okay. Money might not be the most important thing, but it's right up there with air. Took a minute. Some of y'all took a minute for that one, right? It's right up there. It's right up there with air. Now, problem with some folk, and I'm even going to say some of us folk, you understand? We want to look the part and not be the part. In Texas term, they would say, you like a cowboy with a big hat and no cattle. Big hat, no cattle. Cowboy. You look good, but ain't nothing behind you. Because we want to look the part. And I'm not going to talk about how that is represented in our low community self-esteem or our low community self-confidence. But that's a fact. It's a fact. So think about how it is that we have to manage our money. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm not going to let it go. Anybody read this book, The Millionaire Next Door? Now, The Millionaire Next Door talks about a financial philosophy on how it is that people really make themselves into millionaires and don't look like it. By their spending habits. Yep. They talk about how they had polled 5,000 millionaires, and they talked about how that when they go out and buy clothes and shoes and things like that. Now, this is an older book. But they were saying that the average millionaire did not spend $200 for a suit for a man. Now, you know, you can't buy 5 buttons for some. You go buy you a Brioni, you can't, right? Talking about watches for under $100. These millionaires, that was the majority of how it is that they did what it is that they did. Now, I want you to get this book because what I want to do is because I was a teacher, I want this lesson to extend outside of this room. I don't just want to give you some stuff. We sing Kumbaya, we rock and hug and go, and I want this to continue. So get that book and read it. Because let me show you the next thing. Now, I'm from Detroit. I'm from the Motor City. So I understand. The 2 places where we spend the most amount of money is our car and our house. Now, I'm not going to say keeping up with the Joneses. I'm going to say keeping up with the Jenkins. We're trying to do both. If you're not, I'm not even going to ask that, but if you can't virtually tell the difference between those 2 cars, can you? You actually have to be a Land Rover, Range Rover owner to be able to tell the difference. And that is a $15,000 difference. And you can't tell. Now, one is I think it was I put on there 2021, and one was like a 2018. You can't tell the difference. Sometimes when we go to spend that money to get that lease, to get that car back, great investment, huh? As soon as that joker roll off the lot, you can just see money just flying out the window. And you're okay with that because you got to keep up with the Jenkins. You have to be self-disciplined. In the book, The Millionaire Next Door, they talk about how the majority of those 5,000 millionaires that were polled, they saved their money and bought their car and then they would keep the car, whether it would be 10,000, 15, 20, wherever they started. Don't buy the 2022, but buy the 2017 when all of that appreciation has come out of the car. Drive the car 3 years, 4 years while you're saving. Right? I literally survived because I own my own car and I own my own house. And I don't have any mortgage payment, no rent payment, no that during the pandemic. Thank you. It's been rough sometime, though. Bless your heart, child. Bless your heart. It's been rough sometime, though. But if I wouldn't have read that book and start applying those principles, when March of 2020 came, I would have been in that line of those cars trying to get that food. You remember those Benzes, them BMWs? them Range Rovers getting cans of food, getting boxes of food, because people trying to keep up with the Joneses and the Jenkins. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to reevaluate. I'm going to ask you to be disciplined if you want to make a change. Now, this is not the entrepreneurial class, but I'm going to have to talk about it a little bit, because some of us say, well, I work for the government. I'm a GS 96. I'll be a 97 in 7 months. It's all good. And we get what? Complacent. Listen to me. There is a woman on Instagram. I follow her because she's inspirational. She might be 41, 42. She was a battalion chief in Atlanta. Her name is Miss 2 Weeks Out on Instagram. Check her out. She's battalion chief, firefighter, making good money. She started sourcing products. If you don't write down nothing, if you write this down, Alibaba. Anybody ever heard of Alibaba? Raise your hand. If you ain't got the app, get the app tonight. You can buy this. Listen, you can buy this on Alibaba for like $1, $2. Ship it over from China. Yeah, it's going to take a month. It's going to take 40 days, 60 days. But then you can sell this joker for $50. So she said she came into a situation where her good was in opposition to her great. And she said she had to let her job go. She now makes $100,000 a month.
Wow. Jesus.
Yes, call it. If you're going to call it. That's a good name to call. $100,000 a month selling athletic wear. She said she bought the stuff. She was ironing on her little patches, blah, 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 selling them. People start buying them. Next thing you know, she's selling $100,000 worth of stuff. Okay? I want us to think about the entrepreneurial spirit. 70% of the millionaires in this world are millionaires because they're entrepreneurs. You're not going to become wealthy working for somebody else. Now, let me say this before I move on to this next slide. Don't you quit your job on Monday. Talk about that. That Royce Kinniebrew told me that. No, I did not. No, I did not. Balance it out. Get yourself working. Get it to moving. Make $1,000 extra a month. Then $2,000. Then $3,000. Look, if it takes 5 years, you would be in the same place anyway, but you have a little bit more extra money. Some people can actually change their lives. Now, in that money matters, I do want to talk about this before we move on to the next thing. It is create a budget. This, this meme says, I wanted to turn up, but my budget said hold up. I wanted to turn up, but the budget said hold up. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you got a real budget that's written on real paper, that's in real life and tangible. I'm not going to ask you that. I'm not going to ask you if you know your number or if you even know what that process means, where you get all of your expenses for the month, you total them up, and you save as much money in the bank to cover that number. Your number means, say, for instance, $3,000 expenses. And I got $6,000 in the bank. My number is 2 because I can live 2 months without bringing in any extra cash. Some of us ain't got no number. Isn't that right? Let's be for real. And I'm not mad at you, and I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. I don't ever want you to hear some constructive criticism and feel bad about yourself. Well, I guess I should have stayed a little bit longer at the college. I shouldn't have did X. I shouldn't have did Y. We ain't worried about that. Can't go back there. But we can start from where we are right now to change our behavior so then we can be better. But when you know that number, it starts giving you a perspective. Because I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I had did a presentation for a friend of mine at school. He said, Royce, why don't you come and finish up the year and teach this class of fifth graders? I said, okay, man, no problem. All right, did that. Came back, went to a couple conferences, did extremely well, was making money while I was teaching, but I stayed too long. Anybody ever stayed too long? I ain't going to talk about any interpersonal relationships when you stay too long. Somebody said, right? We ain't gonna talk about that. But I stayed too long. And so in February 2020, I decided to leave my job. Boy, it was going good for Black History Month. It was going good for Black History. The first week of March, it was going good. Then the second week of March hit. And the bottom fell out. Okay? But I had to take a gamble, but I had the budget. But I knew what money I need to have. I had aligned my life so that I was able to withstand the storm. Okay? Because of the decisions I made. Make sure you got a budget. Make sure you know what your number is. Make sure you can, or let me say this one thing, then I'll take that. You have to make sure that you can decrease your consumption. You know some stuff that you buy that you don't need. Some of y'all buy magazines, don't read them. Okay? All right, go ahead with the question.
And actually what you just said kind of piggybacks on what I was saying. You were talking about the influencer in Atlanta who buys things and makes $100,000 a month. But what I have a problem with that is because we all know, let's be honest, the power of the black dollar. We spend more money on stuff we don't need. We support the economy. So instead of her prophesizing on that, where's the education? Because we need to, like you're teaching us this, it needs to funnel down. We need to teach our kids this. So she's really
doing what she... All right, I kind of hear you and I kind of feel you, but here's what I want you to understand. What I want you to understand is the way that you change the community is to change your house. Your house got to get changed first. She is a phenomenal teacher of how to do it because what? She did it. We got too many people teaching folk what to do and they never done it. I'm teaching you from experience. Now, there were some days when I looked in the refrigerator and the refrigerator was looking back. But I had a refrigerator. Right? And what I will say to you is that one of the keys for us, and this is an aside, entrepreneurship is a key for us. And I'm not even talking about the black dollar, where we spend $1.3 trillion a year. All of them people that's buying from her ain't black. And see, entrepreneurship, and we could talk about it at the end, because it's another thing that's going on where I'm learning the process. I'm part of a group at a faith-based institution where we teach business for real. We got aunties selling their sweet potato pie at big box stores like Meijer, Walmart, Target. I got sisters at my church who have cosmetic lines at Target, CVS, Walgreens. I got a woman who has the best-selling, what are those cards that you send to people? Greeting cards. Outselling Walmart cards in all the stores that she's in. I don't know. Y'all heard of Meijer's before? Meijer stores? Yeah. Her stuff is selling more than Hallmark at Meijer stores. We're learning how to source products, sit down with buyers from big box stores, and put products there. There are people sitting next to me in church, millionaires. Auntie and them, little man and them. I'm not talking about the PhDs. It's not the PhDs. It's the people that decided to make a decision to do something different in addition to what they do 9 to 5. I'm not saying quit, okay? And so I understand where you're coming from. But for me, you got to do it first. You can only be an expert. Iron can't sharpen iron unless both of them iron. That was good. I'm glad I'm recording that. That was good. Boy, that was good. All right. I'm going to take one more question, then I'm going to go to time management. Go ahead.
What was her Instagram account again?
Mrs. 2 weeks out. Mrs. 2 weeks out. And her husband is Mr. 2 weeks out. And they're down in Atlanta crushing it. And they're part of a group of young black entrepreneurs, millennials and younger, who are multi-millionaires by being entrepreneurs. I don't want you to leave here thinking that something is out of your grasp because of this or because of that, because I ain't got the money, because I'm a woman, because I'm a man, because I'm dark-skinned, because I'm bald-headed, because no. There are no limits if you get the right information. It's an information game. It's not that it's so difficult that you can't do it. You ain't got the information, never been taught. They taught us, go to school, get you a college degree, get you a job, work there for 45 years, get you a watch, and retire. Ain't that what they told us? But guess what? That ain't really working like it's supposed to work no more. They getting rid of your butt. They send them jobs down to Mexico. All right. Now let's talk about time management real quick. You don't have enough time to do everything you need to do. And this is a number 3. Absolutely. We got more stuff than we have time. But you have enough time to do the most important things. The problem is we like to do the easy stuff first and the hard stuff last, when we know that it's the hard stuff that has the most power into the punch. Watch this. Let me show you this. Who knows about the Pareto principle? Anybody know the Pareto principle? Well, you know about the 80-20 rule. That 20% of your efforts give you 80% of your results. And it works on everything. Okay, I read the studies and the research about the Pareto principle. And so what I'm telling you is this. You don't have enough time to do everything, but the most important stuff. Think about 10 things from your job and look at that list of 10 things that you do that are your work responsibilities. Everything is not weighted equally on that list. Isn't that true? Isn't that right? There's some stuff on there that's more important than other stuff. Returning emails is not important as some of the other stuff that you have to do. Okay? So time management is actually not time management. I've never seen anybody make time go forward or make time go backwards. Time management is actually people management. It's self-management. It goes back to what? Self-discipline. You gotta do the most important stuff. Brian Tracy writes a book called Eat That Frog. Write that down. Eat That Frog. His name is Brian Tracy. He talks about all of these different time management strategies. We ain't got a lot of time. We got to do this. We got to run here. Got to do that. But you can do the most important thing. Okay? Time management is huge. When I got time, I talk about time management in the book. I talk about how I was wasting so much time. Okay. Right? How I was wasting so much time. And when I started becoming more efficient with my time, of course efficiency goes up. Of course you're able to do better. And then when you recognize that if you pick the right things with the right time that you do have, you can be much more effective, much more efficient. Okay? Number 3 is time management. Okay? We want to get to the turn up. Now, how many of us in here work from a list? Anybody work from a list? Okay. Brother said on occasion, being very transparent. Okay? Thank you. I don't always do it either. But when I do it, I'm more efficient. Isn't that right? I mean, there's research that says that people that work from a list get more done than people that don't. And I am to the point where I have, in my bedroom, I have a whiteboard. That's a calendar, blank calendar. And I write the month in, the date, and I put all of my stuff on there. I got to be at the big conference from this day to date. I got to do this, blah, 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 blah. Right? That's on the calendar that changes every month. Then on the whiteboard, I put my to-do list for the day and for the week. And then in my office room, okay, I have a calendar that shows where my health and fitness stuff. Did I work out today and what did I do? Right? And I check it off every day. All right? And so it makes me much more efficient about the time and how I'm using my time. Because some of us are spending a little bit too much time recording TikTok videos. Posting on Instagram, Facebook, being online famous. Right? So you cut down, and here's the crazy thing. Whose iPhone, like, every week tell you how much time you've been using on the certain apps? Every time I see it, I be like, dang, stop that. So it's not like it's hard. So that's important. Time management is people management. If you manage yourself better, you can be more efficient in whatever you decide to do. Now, I'm going to talk about health and wellness. I'm going to talk about how we are eating and drinking ourselves to death. I'm not mad that you like pork, but do you have to eat everything from the ruta to the tuta? Literally from the ruta to the tuta. Fried? Here's this. Check this out. It's even worse than that. We are not overweight because of the fat that we're consuming. We're overweight because of the sugar we're consuming. If part of the slave trade was about sugar cane coming from the Caribbean, that's how powerful it is. Do you know that the same parts of your brain that lights up when you're doing illicit drugs lights up when you're consuming and digesting sugar? Do you know that the average American gets about 47% of their carbohydrate calories from sugary drinks, pop, juices, Gatorade, energy drinks? That's the stuff that's killing us. People put that, listen, people sit down, they pops, scooting them back over to the next thing. That ain't mine, that's his. How about, let me say this one thing, and then I get you. How about our fitness? Yes. Just 30 minutes a day?
We did it. We walked all over this building.
And then you gonna go back home. For those of us that's been walking, thank God for the conference, because this is the most exercise that we got in our life, right? I'm gonna talk about this because I've been walking about over 3 miles a day, right? Because I'm not in a hotel. I'm at an Airbnb about 0.8 miles away. So I've been walking here, walking back, and then coming back for the big gig. But you know, go ahead, sis.
Speaking on what we consume, a lot of our illnesses are contributed, are caused of the things that we're eating.
Absolutely.
The diabetes, the high blood pressure. Like once we control those things, all of those problems go away.
And here's 2 more things, and then I'm gonna take you, brother. Why don't you go to sleep? What? Don't. Yeah. See, some of y'all, you think that you are operating at 100% efficiency after your 4 hours of sleep. You fooling yourself. You sitting there working them Z's and X's going all across your board because you fell asleep on the keyboard. You're not sleeping enough. Okay, let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen a mechanic fixing a car that was moving? You like that, right? All right. That's a good analogy. So how it is that you think your body is going to fix itself if you're not sleeping? Your body makes its repairs when you sleep. And the other thing is drinking your water. Can I tell you a little secret? The times when you think you're hungry, you're not hungry. You're dehydrated. Drinking that water now. Right? You're supposed to be drinking a lot of water. You're talking about 64 ounces plus. Okay? They say half your body weight. That's something else right there. I don't know about that. My body weight is getting up there. These COVID pounds ain't came up yet, but I'm working on it. But those are the things that are hurting us. Go ahead with your question, bro.
What you're saying is resonating. So, for the past about 8 years, I've been vegan, eating an entirely plant-based diet, and the teasing and the cajoling I get is from other black people.
Oh, sure.
And especially, I mean, every time I'm around the bros, and they got the chicken, and I'm like, no, thank you. I'm constantly getting teased, and I'm like,
you know why? He said it's chicken. What you mean? Let me hear you. Let me tell you this. We've already said that iron sharpens iron, but I also have to say that misery loves company. It loves company. People will see you eating well, they're like, come on, dog, get you one of these chicken, whatever, gizzards. I don't know, one of these fried chicken beaks or whatever you eating.
chicken, the fish fry.
Absolutely. Today at lunch, I made myself eat a salmon salad. And I got a vinaigrette salad dressing. I'm not going to mess it up by putting, ranch. Exactly. You're not going to mess it up, right? And just got to get the word in. But the health and wellness is so important for us to live. The reason why you so tired, you ain't eating, you ain't sleeping, you ain't drinking water. You can do those things for yourself. If you talk about living a life that you want to live, you have to treat your body like it's the only one you're going to get, because it is. You ain't going to Walmart to get no other body. Costco ain't got no sale on body. They might got sale on caskets, but they ain't got no bodies. Y'all ever seen that on the Costco? They got like freaking caskets in there. I'm like, God. Okay? Now, step number 5, we got 4 more after this. It's your spirit food. Now, I'm not going to have altar call. Come to Jesus. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to tell you is that life is going to provide you with situations where you're going to need something. First Amendment rights, you can worship a cricket if you want to. But when things get hard, you better get on your knees to that cricket. All right, question over here.
No, I was going to say, I appreciate that. I think that for me, sometimes I think that as people, we look externally instead of looking internally. So at divine connection, it's like we always say, don't leave me. And I'm like, the Almighty is the all. So whether it never departs. And so I always say we divine spiritual beings having a divine human experience.
Absolutely.
So, that connection is always there. And as long as you understand that.
And tap into it.
Exactly.
It's that little voice that you hear sometimes, and you do something different, and it don't work out. I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me the other day. I'm in an Airbnb. Got the key to the Airbnb. It's in a condo in an apartment building not too far. Bless you. I'm going to take some stuff out the car. You know that you need your key card to get out the garage to get up into the place. Lost the key. The person gone. My phone on 7%. Can't get into the building. Can't get up to the room. I'm stuck in the and can't find the key. Just pulled into town. Now, I could have cussed. I could have clowned. I could have blamed somebody. But you know what I said? I got with my higher power. And I said, you know what, Lord? I got to find this key. You did it many times before. And you would do it again. And That voice said, just be methodical. So I just went through the car again. The key had failed in, like, you know where, like in your truck, like where the thing clicked and it's like this little bitty hole where the seat clicked. The key had failed in the little bitty hole. And I said, how in the world did I just find that? My spiritual power, my spirit form, my connection to my higher calling, my higher being. Because stuff gonna happen. So you should have one. Now, it's up to you if you want to have one or not. We ain't gonna make you know this is America, so you ain't got to have one. It's America. Okay? With my fellow Americans. Now, when people see you coming, do they roll their eyes? Somebody said they light up. Oh, right? Good. That's good. Because relationships are extraordinarily powerful for your success. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with somebody else. Also, we know iron sharpens iron, but do we also know that birds of a flock together? And also there is a research done on what's called the power of 5. Your 5 closest friends that you make, all of 5 of y'all together makes around the same amount of money on average. And it's because we hang around the same people that are similar to us, that reinforce us. If you're the smartest person in the room, you gotta change your room. If you want the colloquial turn up to make your life better, you have to change your association. And sometimes they gonna get mad. They mad at me right now. They mad at me right now. I got friends that I grew up with. They mad at me right now. But I'm about to drop another. I got another book about to be published this month. You gonna have to be mad because I'm gonna have to sacrifice time to do the things that I want to do to change my life. I ain't got time to be sitting up playing dominoes with y'all. Like, man, why you? I mean, for real. We like grown. We like got grown big kids. Like who? Some of them got grandkids. You got that time? The video games, the leisure time. But people that have low and very few goals spend more time on entertainment than people that are going somewhere. When you got all this time for entertainment, you ain't got no goals. You gonna do something all day? I mean, all day. You ain't got no plan. You cool. You just gonna coast? No, you're not. So our relationships have to be good. So our relationships have to be reciprocal. You can't take from something and expect it to live. You're going to have to do some giving. Whether it's nice words, whether it's assistance, relationships have to be reciprocal. The reason why a lot of our relationships fail is because somebody's doing too much taking. Woo! I need a bodyguard. Who's gonna help me get out of here? Damn, I'm in the corner. How in the world I'm gonna make it out of here? I'm fast, but I ain't that fast. It's about 80 of y'all. It's gonna be hard to get through. The key to your success is not money. The key to your success is not necessarily relationships. The key to your success in any area is that you get the right information. Keep going back to those religious texts. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. My people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. how are you spending your time? Now, I'm not telling you to go back and get a PhD. Now, as a person who's going to go back and get his doctorate degree, my feelings about education are very fascinating and very interesting, because a lot of times our degrees don't correlate to our money that we're generating. We want the government to forgive all our loans. Because we didn't recognize, I done got all these loans and it's not correlated. The return on investment ain't right. Now, I'm not going to talk about college, how 80% of people that go to college don't even work in their degree field. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about the fact that 50% of people that come out of college do not even need a degree to get their first job. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about how the average person comes out with $40,000 of student loan debt. Not going to talk about that. That's average. That's not black people. That's average. You know, we come out probably 2 times a month, right? Not going to talk about that. But if you want to change your life, you got to change your mind. We spend all this time in the car. I call it auto university. Somebody was telling me, I think it was Patrick, we were just having lunch, and he talked about how he spends an hour each way going to work. That's 2 hours a day. Imagine the podcast. Imagine the audio book. Imagine the language you can learn. Imagine the financial tips. Imagine the health and wellness that you can listen. The spirit foods you can digest. The meditation you can have in those 2 hours instead of listening to Drake. I ain't mad at Drake, but I'm more concerned about you changing your life. Drake got you listening to his song, consuming his product while he chilling somewhere. I ain't not making no comments about that, right? But we got to change our mind. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to go out and get more degrees, but you got to learn. Whenever I have a problem that is difficult, I don't freak out. I always have learned that the key to solving whatever problem that I'm having, it's an information problem. So I start to overload on that problem. If listen, you think, well, I got to go to this a person and do that. Go to YouTube. Put in how to whatever your problem is. How about you start right there? Look at videos long enough to find out. You'll start seeing some correlations, even if it is Donald Duck talking about, financial tips, right? You're going to watch enough videos and you're going to find out, wow, I think if I do this, that, or the other, I can make this work. All right? The other thing, in regards to mind improvement, when we're changing, I want you to think about in whatever endeavor that you're going to go into that you don't know. Find out what you think the most important skill or strategy is and learn that first. And then on that list, after you've done that, go to number 2. Then go to number 3. And after a while, you're going to become an expert on that particular area enough to do what it is that you need to do. Okay? We got to change our minds. We got to put ourselves around people that can help us do so. All right? We got 2 more. That's the book that I have today. And I write and I talk about my life in regards to how I had to change the way that I thought, first of all, about myself. You are not going to be able to move higher and be more successful than your self-esteem. If your self-esteem is this high, your success is going to be this high. If your self-esteem is this high, your success is going to be this. Self-esteem this high, success that high. My mind improvement was changing how I thought about myself. Because I grew up in a certain situation of having a mother who came down with mental illness when I was in middle school. And going through 30 years of her disease raging before she got herself some help because you know how we are with our mental health in our community. Okay? So we're going to be raffling off one of these books a little bit later. Now, goal setting. When I'm not talking to folks from the government, when I'm not in a K through 12 setting, talking to teachers and assistant principals and administrators, I am with some young folk, and you can't hardly see them because the thing all dark. But that's the state champion in Division I 4x4 relay team in the state of Michigan. And for that to occur, some goal setting had to happen. I want to ask you right now, do you have goals written down? How about we just start right there? Write the vision, make it plain. That's what the sister said up there, up front, and I agree. Make it plain. Make it plain for yourself. Write down your goals. Write down your goals. Ask yourself, by the end of December 31st, 2022, what do I want to have occurred? And write it down in the present tense. I have $10,000 saved up in the bank. I have written my first book. I have started filed for my LLC for my business. Write it in the present tense. It's a very powerful auto-suggestive method that when you put those things in place, then it becomes easier and those things start to happen. I am a testament to that. But those are my guys. I coach track back home. I coach at Cass Tech. And I've been put in a situation. I was in Cass Tech in the 9th grade. My mom was suffering. Our household was suffering. I went to Cass. I was the kid that was acting out. I was the kid that was bringing fireworks to school. I was the kid that was breaking into teachers' file cabinets with paper clips. Yes, I was. Right? Because of the trauma that I was suffering from seeing my mama and my grandmama rolling on the floor fighting. Two most important women in my life. Right? And so I got kicked out of that college prep school. But because I look at service now as a privilege, that God arranged it, so I'm back there now. I got a kid who has 10 brothers and sisters. 13 people living in one house. How I can't buy that boy some shoes. He came to practice, toe busting up out his shoe. Got to give. I got the opportunity to give. I got the money to give. Work for the government. Doing these virtual lectures. Got my suit on, my tie on, and some basketball shorts and flip-flops. Virtual lecturing for NASA, NRO, Department of Health and DHS, Health and Human Services. Just did these this year, right? Got the money. I get the money. All of what comes to you is not for you. Some of what comes to you is supposed to go through you. And it will change your life. I have a vision of the community that I want, so I got to build it. There's always somebody on the sideline talking about what needs to happen. Well, what needs to happen is people who see a problem need to try to solve it. If January 6th didn't tell you nothing, and all of this foolishness don't tell you nothing, ain't nobody coming to rescue us. You can't go to church without getting shot up. You can't go to the grocery store without getting shot up. You can't go to work without getting shot up. You can't stay in your own house. I mean, it's just open season on black folk and other people of color. So we got to take care of ourselves and stop worrying about what they doing. Last one. Fear. 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 Zig Ziglar said, false evidence appearing real. You know it be hitting when people be making noises, boy. Ow! Oh!
Can you repeat that?
False evidence appearing real. Watch this. Fear comes usually 3 ways. Watch this. The first one is fear of rejection. You ain't gonna do it because somebody ain't gonna like you. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. They don't like you anyway. 20% chemically, 20% science says 20% of people that you meet because y'all chemicals don't match. Y'all pheromones and all of that stuff don't mix, and they're not gonna like you. 20%, 1/5 of the people. And then other people just ain't gonna like you. And then don't be doing good, or be doing what they supposed to be doing, or be with somebody that they want to be with, or be wearing something they want to wear, or have that purse, or that hairstyle, or that shape. Let's be for real. Or them pecs. You about to get hated on. Cat Williams said, you supposed to have haters. He said, ladies, if you got a hater in December, and you got 15 haters, and what did he say? He said, you got 15 haters in September, you need to be trying to figure out how to get 17 before the end of the summer. Get you some more haters, because they're going to hate. But that's fear of rejection. Because if we decide we do what we want to do for the turn up to make our lives better, then somebody going to reject us. The other one is fear of loss. I'm going to lose my money. I'm going to lose my time. I got to put something in my chair. I'm going to lose my seat. I'm going to lose my parking spot. Woo, gotcha. Stepped on your toe. Stepped on your toe. Yes. Fear of loss. Nothing wagered, nothing gained. And for those of you from the urban community, scared money don't make money. Y'all know what it is. Stop playing. You got to wager something. You got to put something on the line. You got to get in the game. Your attitude will determine your altitude. Edison, in regards to fear of loss, said he's never failed once. He just found out 10,000 times that something didn't work. How about that for attitude? That's a winning attitude. You have to literally, and I talk about it in the book, how I failed my way to success. Failure is the price that you pay for success. And the problem is when you fear rejection, you fear loss, you ain't going to put it on the line to get what it is that you want. And the last one is fear of failure. You don't start because you think you're going to fail before you even start. Thomas Edison said that thing about 10,000 times. He's not worried about the failure. That Will Smith said that he became successful because he started to do the things that he was afraid of. There's a saying that says how's it go? It says that when you have conquered the fear on the inside, wait a minute, what is it? If there's no fear in this, I'll email it to y'all. I can't remember. All right? But that's the key. But here's how we're going to close before we do the raffle. They say that the richest place in the world is the graveyard. The richest place in the world is the graveyard. Why? Because people died and didn't write the book. They died, didn't start the business. They died, didn't create the invention. They died, didn't meet the significant other. Is that people have died with all of this wealth stored up in their body, but they allowed fear to stop. So that's the turn up. Those 9 steps. Got to get your body together. Got to get your spirit together. Got to get your mind together. You got to eat right. You got to manage your money. You got to manage your time. You got to manage your fear. I'm not saying don't be scared, because you're going to be scared. But you're going to have to do it anyway.